Yeah, dude, that's such a good message. And you know what? I'm gonna say those exact words because I do, and that's the one thing about not being um, in Chicago because I don't have as many friends here that I can do that with. There are musicians that I've met along the way. One in particular that I will go see her shows, that
Hmm.
I will go support her
I
open
remember you
mics,
talking about her too.
and
Yeah.
then I'll go out and do that. And it's like, but there's so many people back in Chicago that I could do that for. And there's some talks about us maybe moving back to Nebraska, like only for the simple fact that Jenny could take over this
Family.
law firm,
Oh,
yeah,
even
like
better.
buy out this law firm thing or maybe move or whatever. But
Sure.
I really don't, it would only be a means to an end. It would only be moving there to make a good business decision so we could come back. So we probably won't do it. But anyway, no, dude, that really like squares me away on that. You know what's crazy is
Values,
we got this
support.
Portugal trip coming up and we're supposed to leave next week.
What?
We're supposed to go to
Portugal.
Portugal on the 13th or
Why are you
13th, I
looking
think.
all sad? What's up?
Because I surprised Jenny with this for her 40th birthday, but it's
Got tickets and
really,
everything.
we
Everything's
have
in place.
tickets booked. I booked. I've been saving miles since could had a credit card on United,
Yeah.
and I had enough. I don't know. I had 300,000 miles. It got us like coach or economy on the way there, and then on the way home, it's all first class or all business class. Which is awesome. That's what I want. I still have 100,000 miles left, so we might be able to do some upgrades along the way. But
Yeah.
it's like, she's interviewing.
25.
She doesn't have a job, so she's interviewing right now, and I'm kind of in the middle of a couple interviews, and money's so tight that
Right.
like
Mm-hmm.
we probably shouldn't go. Like we probably shouldn't go. And we're like, when we're off this call, I'm about to call United and see what they say about us backing out or us postponing a month because she's about to get a job offer. But like it's almost irresponsible to go. It's almost irresponsible to go. And it's the
All
adult
right.
thing, but that's
Let
kind of
me
where
let
we're
me
at
kick
now.
around some. Let me kick around some
Let's hear
questions.
some,
When's
yeah.
when's the last time you've been on vacation, just you two, for vacation purposes?
For
Not with Payne, not
vacation
with anybody else.
purposes,
Yeah, just you two.
honestly, dude, I would really have to think, but I would
Right.
say probably our honeymoon
What?
12 years ago. Yeah, it's been a really long time.
So then that's
Like,
all I need to ask you. You should go. Even if money is tight, you can always make more money. You can't make more time. You can't make more time at the age you are at now. You can't get back the time with the mindset that you're in now. If you go to Portugal and you take Jenny there and you stop worrying about money, stop worrying about time, stop worrying about her job interviews, your job interviews, who's going to watch Payne, who's going to watch the house. All of that stuff is obviously valid worries. All of that stuff is adulting, like you said. Um, but my take on it is this: is you cannot replace the energy, the experience, the value, like we were just talking about, that you get from doing something like this trip. And when you come back from a trip like Portugal, as long as you let the bullshit go, if you carry that bullshit with you to Portugal, that trip is going to suck. But if you let it go and you leave it there at your house, in your little area, in your living space, or in your little world that you're in right now, and it might take a day or two. I'm going to be honest, because you can't unwind from your day to day grind, in 5 hours. It'll take a day or two. Once you get through that and you actually go on that adventure and stay positive, don't let that fear creep into your mind about money, about pain, about time, about jobs, about moving, about anything else. Don't let any of that fear hijack your time. You will reset, you will reload, and you will refocus, just like you were saying in your, the no boost things that we were talking about. Um, all of that stuff will happen for you, and then you'll come back with new ideas, new passions, new information, new direction, new energy, new all of that shit. It's as long as you let everything else go or stay here, and you can pick it right back up. The time is going to fly anyway. You're never going to forget it. You're going to be able to then use that momentum to carry you on to the next trip. You'll see the value in this trip, and then you'll realize that it's super important to do it more than once every decade.
Yeah.
You'll realize that you have to put money aside to do it once a year, if not more. I'm leaving next week too. Rachel's taking me to Florida for my birthday, so we're going to Disney World, and we're just gonna meet,
Awesome.
just me and her. We're not bringing the kids. It's just me and her. And she's got season passes at Disney, so she, for her, she's got the mileage, like you said. She's got the, that's how we're doing it too. We're trying to do it on the cheap as well, just because we have the ability. We saved up the miles. We saved up we can get the car. We
Right.
can get the hotel. You just got to do it, and you can't let any of that fear or anxiety or because otherwise you're never going to go anywhere, and you're going to be 64 and you're going to be like, fuck.
I'm talking about like coming back and like not even having enough money to pay our mortgage if we go, like spending our mortgage money. I'm talking fucking like irresponsible if we go. Like it's going to be a stretch to make it happen anyway.
All right.
This is not like,
yeah,
but I agree with you. Like maybe it's the right move anyway, because if we're already there, we're already there. I mean, I gotten to the point where I'm just like, well, you're turning 40 when we're there. Like the last night there, she turns 40. First of all, we land and we get there on Valentine's Day. And then our last night there, she turns 40. The next day we wake up, and Zach Reef is there with his husband, with his wife and kids. We're going to see Zach Reef.
Listen, I'm telling you, if there's ways to make more money, there's ways to finance this trip. If you went on NerdWallet and you get a credit card with a limit that has no interest payments for 18 months, you can't make that work.
I probably couldn't get a credit card right now.
What?
Yeah.
Why is that? Credit issues?
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah. So like,
we don't have to get too crazy, but
no,
I'm just saying.
Care. Yeah. I mean, so, Jenny, essentially, as long as we've been here, has been in school.
Right.
And then and so, we were balancing financial aid and my income, and like, truthfully, our credit card, it isn't above probably 15. We haven't gotten crazy out of hand, but it's sitting right around there. And she would probably kill me if I even said any of this stuff, but
it's all good. That's why I said you don't have to.
It has to be real.
Details.
No, but it has to be real, though.
It is. These are that's why I said mine is higher than that too. But here's the craziest part: I'm tired of waiting.
I know.
I seen Kobe Bryant just die, and obviously I didn't know him, but I think his death, like I was saying in my podcast, was the craziest shit I've ever seen. Right? Because many, many famous people have died in the past. That's not the first time that somebody famous has died.
Yeah.
First time I've ever seen the world react like that. Am I wrong?
No, I mean, it was pretty, because he's like a Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson type of guy. I mean, for that generation. I mean,
but even Michael Jackson died and it wasn't that crazy. I think if Michael Jordan died, it wouldn't be that crazy. But I'm saying like everybody came to this like conclusion of like, you want to do something, you want to go tell somebody that you love them, go do it now.
Yeah.
If you want to go on that Portugal trip, you do it right now. If you want to make that move to Nebraska because she has a business opportunity, you fucking do it now. Because if you wait, you might have made the better move where you can justify it in your head. Like when I told you I quit my 1 year photography thing, sure, I made up a ton of fucking shit in my head that justified my move. Anybody can do that. But the reality is I should have finished. The reality is
I'm surprised you didn't.
Exactly. Yeah, because I conned myself out of it. But the reality is you can make more money. You will make more money.
Yeah.
The reality is you can't make more time. And you'll wake up one day and you'll be like, yeah, let's go to that Portugal trip now. And you'll be too old to walk the mountains. You'll be too old to do all these things that you want to do. And I refuse. I don't give a shit if I'm 20 grand in debt. I'll make that go away. That's not a problem. The problem is I don't want to be a millionaire at 65 and fucking crippled because my knees are shot, because I, played too many sports when I was younger and I waited, until I was, retired before I actually did anything that I loved. There's so many people that I know, older people that I know, that tell me, you should take a mini retirement in the middle of your life. Like when you're 35, you should retire for 5 years. And everyone's like, that's fucking insane. But is it? Is it really that crazy? Because I don't know. The quality of life versus how much money you have versus how much money you're going to make versus how much, you know, all of that stuff factored in. To me, it's now or never.
Yeah.
And if I do make mistakes and I do fuck up and I have to pay the dummy bill for, you know, my credit card and it's $400 because I have a 16%, you know, carrying rate or something on my card or something like that, then that's my fault. I should have went and got a credit card that had zero interest or something like that. Or I should have asked my, you know, I could have borrowed against my 401k. I could have, without penalty though. So like your current 401k with your employer, you could borrow against that as long as you repay it. You could take a loan from yourself.
Already
You
done
can
it.
also, yeah, exactly. So you know the drill.
Yeah.
But that's
I'm almost,
my
I'm
point.
like to the point where there's another like chunk of money in there that I can't get. But if
Yeah,
I quit my job, I can. I'm literally to the point where I will just quit my job so I can get that money so I
get
can
that
pay
chunk
off
of
some
money.
shit. And I can like, you know, I'm like, we're talking tonight about selling our house. And it's
What
like,
about, yeah, what about garage sales? What about more shit on eBay? What about, you
no,
know, cleaning more stuff out? Like find the stuff that you can't, you know, that you don't need, sell it. Find stuff that you can, you know, find ways to make money. There's ways to make money. And I just think that people always just think it's work and it's not. You know, you don't have to work three
no.
jobs to make ends meet. You just have to be smarter. You know, you just have to think outside the box better. You have to, you know, and I think that that's probably why you use that value system of, if it doesn't make me money, is it worth my time? I see why that is now. And and I've always had this weird thing about money, right? The more I worry about it, the less I have. The less I worry about it, it just shows the fuck up. It's so weird, dude. I can't even explain it. Like literally, the less I worry about it, it just shows up. Like I had the inkling, the slightest thought of like, holy shit, dude, I'm in a little bit of trouble here. I should probably back it down a little bit. You know, I can't you know, I can't keep spending like this, you know? And then I said to myself, I'm like, you know what? It's all right. I have a job. I have a way to make money. I can pay this shit back. You know, it's not a big deal. Um, I'm gonna do it. So I did it, and then I was like, okay, um, I can't wait for this event. You know, I was super excited. I didn't let the fact that maybe I was overstepping my bounds ruin that time. Then magically, like no fucking shit, dude. I get, you know, like I said, that letter in the mail about, you know, that lost money from my father to the tune of like $2,500, and I'm just like, what? Like literally, I was just gifted to, you know, $2,500, which was 5 times the amount I had just spent. I'm just like, what the fuck, you know? And then yeah, and then, you know, like I ran into another situation where, you know, like back when I was getting divorced and stuff, and I was like, dude, this is killing me. I have no money. You know, I spent all my money on the lawyer, and my mom comes up to me and she's like, hey, you know, I wanted to know what you wanted to do with these. These are all the savings bonds that your grandparents bought you from when you were born till now, and they're all matured. I'm like, well, how much is here? And she's like, 17 grand. And I'm like, what?
Oh
I'm
my
like, are
God.
you fucking serious? You've been letting the government have this money for, you know, interest free for how long? It was like 11 years or something. And I'm just like, dude, cash them all in right now, you know?
Yeah.
But it's just like, it was just random occurrences where just like money just landed in my lap. And it was because I was just focused on being the best dude that I could be, not making the most money,
Yeah.
not, you know, stressing out about, you know, who I'm not stressing out about where, you know, how I'm gonna, you know, pay the rent or something like that. Um, I just, you know, how when you're in the flow, you were kind of talking about this, you were hinting at this, I think, a little earlier. When you took the ball and you just whipped it up at the fucking
Yeah.
the splash pool and you hit the thing and it was just all in one motion. You didn't think about it, you just let it happen
Yeah.
and you hit the target.
Oh yeah.
I think
I knew
all
it.
of life is like that. Yes, you can almost see the future.
Yeah. I knew it.
Get in tune with life like that on every level. And I know it's like, well, of course,
No, no,
well,
no,
we're
no,
talking
no,
about
no, no.
school.
I think you're right. You're so right. That's great advice. And the problem is I'm not. Like the problem is and that's why every day
You're anxious.
I drive to work knowing that I know, like I have all these other like business ideas and these companies like the Jenny's thing that with this
Yep.
Barfly thing that I think I told you about.
Yep.
I tell you about Barfly, and it's like
Yeah.
if I just had time, I'm not saying that I would be the millionaire, but could I replace the money that I make now? Yes, I could.
I
And
think
if not, I
anyone
could
could.
come up with something else. And so it's like it's driving me insane that I'm like going to waste my time every day to this job where
Yeah.
I don't
I
care.
feel that, dude.
I don't care. And it's like, oh,
I
and
play
you're
the
right.
game too.
I am living in fear. And it's the money thing. It's like when I see how it is, and like Jenny's gonna have a job any day now. Like she's actually being
That'll
recruited.
be huge.
She actually just got, with one of the top. It's like a nationwide firm, and it's an entry level way in. But they've all said she has friends in the company, and they're like, just start here. There's room to grow, and so like that's gonna pop.
Exactly.
And so you're right. I have at least 700 to maybe $1,000 worth of golf stuff uh, in my garage that I
Move the
could
shit
list
that you ain't gonna
tonight.
use, man.
Tonight. But like part of me wants this. This is really, really high quality shit, and part of me
Of
wants to
course
keep
it
it for
is.
pain because like
No, you'll get new shit for pain when you hit one of these ventures big. You'll be able to buy them a fucking golf store. What you have to do is focus on being the best Joel, best version of Joel Pilka that you can be right the fuck now.
yeah,
And if
you're
that
right.
means moving some, listen, I'm going to tell you something crazy. Okay, so my favorite camera lens is my 16 to 35. That's what I shot all my real estate stuff with. That's what I shot all those kick-ass pictures that you see me shooting. That's what I
Hmm.
did everything with. So when I was doing some stuff and I'm like, okay, I want this thing. And it was, you know what it was? It was the piano and it was my I think I might have talked to you about this. It was the piano and it was that MIDI controller so I could play
Oh
some
yeah.
music, right? And I'm like, but I don't have $700 or $800 to pay for this fucking shit. Um, but I want it now because I want to learn how to play piano and I want to get back into music. And if I have to sell that shit in the future because I've moved on and changed focuses, that's fine too. So what I said to myself was, I go, I have 5 camera lenses. Okay. They all are kick ass and I can all take kick ass pictures with them. I have more than 5, but I'm just throwing around numbers. Um, I can sell this one that will more than cover both of those items so that I can continue on my adventure. Now, in the future, if I want to repurchase a kick ass lens like that, A, it'll probably be cheaper. B, they'll probably be better. And C, um, I can sell, like I said, whatever I had bought. Like even I could sell that MIDI controller for $500. I could sell the piano for another 200 or something like that. That's taking a loss on those items, just based on depreciation. But boom, I applied those back together, and maybe I spend 200 on the lens instead of 1,200 because I just carved out another grand. And then that's in the future though. But right now, I wanted to get back into music. I wanted to learn how to play piano. So I did what I had to do, even though I did not want to sell that lens, even though I knew that I could eventually give that lens, like you said, to Dakota or to Cat, or even use it to make more money, like with the real estate photography and stuff like that. But I made a decision. I was just like, I want to move in this direction. And so I have to sacrifice. And I chose my own sacrifice. It's
Yep.
that
No,
simple,
no, no,
man.
dude. That's so true because I'm gonna list this stuff when we get off because I've been wanting to list it. I've been wanting to list it, but I'm just like, well, you know what? It's really nice stuff, and
It is nice stuff.
okay,
That's
the
even better.
shafts. I mean, the shafts are brand new. They're still in the bag. Like they haven't even stickers
Beautiful.
haven't even been put on them. You know what I mean? And they're tour
Yeah.
shafts, and these
Of
driver
course,
shafts are at
man.
least $200 a piece. And I'm
Now
like,
we're
but
talking,
you know
baby.
what? In 15 years, whenever, or let's say in 5 years, whatever, when Payne's ready, the
Exactly.
technology will be new and everything else. So it doesn't matter
It'll be
anyhow.
cheaper.
Now
It'll be better. All
the
of it.
golf the actual heads. Here's one of
Uh-huh.
these Mira golf clubs that I have.
Yeah.
These
Yeah,
are
baby.
like the
Butter.
samurai sword of golf. It's made by this Japanese guy. His process, like the forged metal,
Yes, yes.
and like so these heads will be fine forever. It's forged metal.
Telling
It's
you, man.
forged steel. It's not going
Yeah,
anywhere.
my old irons were
You know,
forged. The DCI
but
Titleist.
oh yeah, I have those in the garage too.
Yeah.
But I'll get rid of these. I'm going to sell these because I have one set. Then I'll have one set left, the black ones, which I really, really, really like. And I
Bro,
hit well. These I don't hit well anyway. But
you'll be fine, man. I'm telling
so
you,
all
make
right,
some
fair enough.
sacrifices. And here's the deal, dude. Like I said, here's the craziest part. I'm going to give you a whole scenario of just like me right now. I just had a vision, right? So you sell the clubs, you make some moves, you go on the vacation, you come back from vacation, re-energized, refocused, and re-motivated. You get back on the golf course. The weather turns around because of the spring. You start to get, back into the swing of things like that. You start to do some stuff like golf related because you're now feeling that vibe again. You're feeling, like I said, that re-energized. You actually win another set of irons at some outing or some open or some giveaway or some other thing, and you now have another set of clubs that you can let Payne or Jenny mess around with or sell again to refund something else. You get into the flow and shit like that just starts happening. I'm
Yeah,
telling you,
dude,
because
that's
now
true.
you're focused on the best version of Joel possible, and shit just starts to magnetically suck to people that are focused on being the best version of themselves. Magnetically, just shit, just you just attract shit. It's like that law of attraction thing. It's real,
No,
dude.
dude, no, I know that's real, and I talk about that shit. You're so right, and it's easy to somehow I got lost, and I can blame it on a lot of things, and I think I will
You
blame
get
it a little
busy.
bit on the pot, on the weed a little bit.
It does distract
I
you.
was down in that rabbit hole for the last couple months, man, and
It is a night and day effect for sure, especially if you go sober for a long time, and you start, like you said, you'll see your energy level pick up, you see your focus pick up, you see that you have more time than you do, you're less lazy, even though that's a bad rap with pot though, because not everybody gets lazy when they smoke pot.
well, it
um,
depends on what you have.
exactly.
But still, like, I mean, even if
Yes,
you have a nice
the time
sativa,
suck.
and in another
Yeah.
half hour or so or an hour, it's going to come down.
Yep.
But
I get
so,
what you're saying. Yeah.
yeah. So tonight, though, so Jenny and I started talking. I said to her, I said, maybe this house, though, is just too much for us because the HOA is 300. Like, if
Boom.
we got rid of this place, we
Sure.
could find the same amount of space, even the same price, but
Yep.
it would be cheaper if it just didn't have a $315 HOA. And so I said, how about this?
Agreed.
What if we went and got a 3-bedroom apartment for a year? And we said, let's go rent for a year because it's got the gym, it's got the pool, it's got all the stuff, and we'll save almost $1,000 a month. Actually, about $1,000 or almost $1,300 a month living
Dude,
in
I
a
love it.
kick-ass apartment,
I
like
love it.
high end. Well, and then it's kind of the point where then she would only have to work maybe part time.
Well, dude,
So
no,
now
let
our
her
life.
work as much as
No,
she
I know. I'm
wants.
just saying
Yeah.
though. I'm saying like if she wanted to have more
Stockpile
life,
that cash,
she
bro.
could. But the point is, yes, we would be able to both work full time, stockpile some cash, be able
Don't
to
spend it. Put that
be
shit
able
away.
to yeah, and be able to say, but we can go on a vacation every year now.
Yes.
And
Yes.
now we can feed our souls together. And so like
Mm-hmm.
that Navy SEAL program I was telling you about, where you do every quarter you do an excursion,
Yep.
and then
I
but then
read that
like
whole thing.
twice a year, whatever you do, like a
Like
big
a
one,
major event.
like
Yep.
a
Mm-hmm.
major event, which
Yeah.
you and I have to put on the books, because if we never get it on the books, it's not going to happen, man.
And I'll tell you what, bro. Here's what I'm gonna offer you,
Let's hear
just
it,
so that
bruh.
you can set your mind at ease, my friend. Whatever we decide to do, like you
Mhm.
said, even if it's local by you, and I would even suggest that based on our conversation that we're having right now, I come out there by you somehow. We'll do something in your neck of the woods. I'll flip the whole fucking bill,
No, dude, it can't be that
the
way.
whole bill.
You
Here's
know,
why. Here's why. Listen, here's why. Because I know that in the future you're going to do the same thing for me. And I'm going to take you back to a conversation that I had with Vince Corrado. So Vince Corrado, about 10 years ago, we're on a boat and we're fishing Green Lake. We're in a tournament, and he's super frustrated because he keeps getting calls from his wife, and she's nagging on him about money because the bank account doesn't have any cash in there. The daughter has to go to some birthday party. They don't have money to even get a present for the girl's party that they're going to. She's fucking pissed because he's in Green Lake fishing,
fishing.
which costs a shit ton of money, gas, entry fees, food, hotel, all that shit.
Uh,
He's fucking he hangs up the phone. He starts screaming. He can't focus on fishing. He does shitty in the tournament. So day 2 we get out there because there's multiple days. So day
Oh
2 we
yeah.
get out there and he's super pissed, right? And she's calling him, still bugging him. And I go to him, I go, look, I go, listen, I go, you need to calm down. I go, if you focus on what's going on right now, everything else is just going to happen the way that it's happening. But here's the deal. If you focus on being the best version of yourself, don't let the stress get to you. Don't get off the course. Focus on having a good time. I'm going to give you $100 right now for gas money to cover everything like that. I'll take care of the hotel. He was staying with me anyway. I'm like, so I'm going to take care of the rest of the expenses for this trip. So you can tell Tahara that no big deal. Okay. So you're not going to flip another penny. I just want to take that pressure off you, first of all. And I go, here's the crazy part, Vince. In 10 years from now, we're going to be on this boat. Same deal, same lake, maybe not the same lake, but same deal. We'll be fishing. And we're going to be laughing about 10 years ago when you were flipping out because you didn't have any money. You were working for some shitty company and you couldn't stand it and you were super frustrated and nothing was going right. So guess what I brought up to him 2 weeks ago? I think I was at his house. About 2 weeks ago, I was at his
No
house.
way.
I go, dude, you remember 10 years ago when you were flipping out at the boat and you were punching the fucking deck of the boat and you were screaming and everybody was, like, what the fuck? And you were having money problems and shit. And I told you we're going to be laughing about it in 10 years. I go, guess what? I go, it's been 10 years. Now you own your own business. I see about fucking $12,000 in fucking cash sitting on your desk right there. I go, your daughter's a superstar in fucking high school basketball. Your kid's a superstar. Your wife's got a great job. You guys are gonna move into a different house. You just got a new work van. I'm like, you fucking own your own company and you call your own shots and you make fucking 10 times the money that you did before. Was I right or was I right? And he's like, you
Yeah.
were fucking right, Jones. And it all started with his attitude. The minute his attitude changed, he lost 45, 50 pounds. Then
Wow.
he started to get into, like his old mentality where he was like super aggressive, super, not aggressive in a bad way, but like super aggressive, like, keeping up with sports and activities.
Uh-oh.
And he got his kids involved, all that shit, dude. It was awesome. Okay. So, all that being said, we're going to go somewhere and I got us. I'm telling you, I got us. All you got to do is show up and you got to bring Joel. That's the only thing I want from you.
Man, it's hard for me to say because in most of my life, I've been the guy that has foot the bill because I was in the position to do so.
Sure.
And it's hard for me to do, but I will do it because it's you.
Yeah, man. I, I,
Because I
I love
trust
doing
you.
it. I love doing it though. That's my thing
I
is I
know. I
love
love it
doing it.
too. I love it too. But
And that's why I said there'll be a time in the future where you take me somewhere that'll blow my fucking mind just because you again then will have the ability to do that. I know. I'm
yeah,
not
I
worried
know
about
too.
anything like that. I just want to go somewhere kick ass. And I love bringing people on adventures. And people don't go on enough adventures, right?
No, man, it's so
And
true.
when I bring them on adventures, the first thing they always talk about is money. And I always tell them, I'm like, don't even worry about that. Because if you start worrying about that, I'm not going to get you. I want you, and the money is not a big deal. I'll take care of the money factor. Don't worry about that shit. Just have fun. I want to see you with your defenses down, having a good time, not going crazy and drinking till you're blacked out or anything stupid like that. I
Mhm.
just want you to experience it and take it all in without the fear of like, oh my God, how much is this going to cost me? Oh my God, I'm not going to be able to make this up. Oh my God, I don't have the time for this. Oh my God, all of those anxieties and fears. I don't want any of that. I
Yeah,
just
you have to
want
be
you
present.
ready to explore. Yeah, I want you present, ready to just explore. And if you can do that, then I got us. I got the rest of
Man,
us.
I'm in.
Yeah,
Thanks, dude.
I
I'm
know
in.
you are. But we're gonna make this happen. So
Yeah,
I'm taking away any excuses. So
I
all I
love
need
it.
from you is the time, and we'll work out that so that you can make that work for you as well. Um, and we're gonna go do something cool, and we're gonna go do something that will change both of our lives. And I'm gonna come down there and get you and just drag your ass over to it and drop you back off at your front door, and
Let's
then
do it.
tell you that I'll see you next Monday on fucking Zoom.
Dude, I'm fucking in. And you said exactly what I wanted to say earlier is like, those things always change your life. You know,
They
things like
do.
that will change your life. And you can't go too long in between that stuff. Like this thing with Jenny and I am going to press that we go because you know what? We could stay here and we can worry about money, or we could
Mhm.
go there and hopefully let it go for like 10 days and then come back and still worry about it. You know what I mean? Like
Well,
it's problem's going to be
things will
here when we get back
change. Like you'll have an epiphany. Like literally, you'll come back with an epiphany of
here.
everything.
Well,
Like you'll have
yeah,
a different view about money, about life, about
life, about
travel,
people.
about
Yeah.
people, about culture, about time, about everything. Food, fucking, it doesn't matter. Air travel, fucking, foreign country travel, language. You'll have an appreciation for so much fucking shit. It'll blow your mind. And then if you can apply that to your everyday life, back where you are right now, it'll just it'll make you shine. It'll make you like stand out. It'll People that don't travel and that don't explore and that don't do those things, there's no shine. They're dull and they just
Yeah.
blend in with the crowd. But you can tell the people that go places and experience shit because they always have something cool to say. They always have
Yeah.
something interesting to show you. They always have, like some crazy fucking stories. And you can just see it in their mannerisms and their personality. They walk in the room and everyone kind of just looks at them like almost like they're famous, but they're not. But they just have a different energy and a different vibe because
Yeah.
the confidence, the shit that you learn, the like I said, the energy that you get, all of that stuff shows. Like you don't have that unless you
That's
go out and you explore that shit.
and that's how I feel like at my job. Like I work in HR. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? I'm a recruiter at a hospital. I work in HR, and it's like I feel like as egotistical, as narcissistic, whatever it sounds, I feel like, and because people tell it to me all the time, like, what are you doing here? Like
right.
I'll walk in there and I'm just like, I feel like we all have this potential, but like, I feel like
Wasting
I
it.
don't know why I'm there. Yeah. There's so many things I could do. I could, worst case scenario, I just go sing on the street corner with a guitar. Like there's just so many things that I could do, we could all do, but yeah, I feel like I don't belong there. Anyway,
You you
yeah,
you should
you've
write
really
down a
changed
lot of
me
these
here tonight,
questions,
man.
man.
You really changed me because I went from we're about to back out of this trip, depending on what United says, to saying, hold on, I could sell $400 or $500 worth of shit before the weekend. I have
No
another
problem.
$100,000 in miles. Like if I want to get crafty, we can get probably our hotel with miles. So the whole
Hmm.
trip's already comped. Now, are we going to be able to take a train over to, Florence because Jenny stayed there when she was 6 months in college and she wants to show me her apartment and the piazza
Maybe
or
not.
whatever. Maybe
Yeah.
not. But
Maybe you have to be more
Fatima,
crafty about it. Yeah.
Fatima is in Portugal, which my mom was asking me to go to, where like, these three kids saw like, the angel or whatnot. There's a whole story behind it, which I should know more about. But she's like, "You're going to Fatima, aren't you?" I'm like, "Well, now I am." Um, like, there's enough in Portugal for us to go to. Worst case, we can maybe rent a car and drive 14 hours north to Paris because I've never been to France either.
You
So
might be able to get the train tickets cheaper than that. You might be able to do
who
something
knows?
else. You might be able to take a bus. You might be able to do, there's tons of different things. You just, like I said, the more you do those things, the more you're able to figure that stuff out, to clear those hurdles. The more you're able to navigate those situations. People that don't travel, that don't go on adventures, that don't take a different route home from work,
Mm.
don't know what to do in
I
those
did that today. It
situations.
was
There you
awesome.
go.
Oh, it was
Because
awesome,
if you change the way that you do things,
dude.
and if you just got to do it.
You're right. You're right. You totally inspired me. Speaking of taking a different way home from work today I was like, all right, I don't have to get pain. I got to get a haircut. So I kind of have to go actually the same way, but there was so much traffic
Hmm.
and I couldn't get right out of my parking lot. So I was like, screw it, I'll go left.
Yep.
So I'm going left and I'm going down to the end. And I know I never go left because it's at this street where people try to go left across like 4 lanes and there's like 12 or 15 cars in line. So I
Yeah.
look at the little map on my car and I'm like, oh yeah,
Yep.
this street goes through.
It cuts through.
So I go left to the next street and it's like the Truman Show, wide open.
Right.
There were 2 cars in front of me, as opposed to literally 15 cars. And all we did was I went here, and now instead of 15 cars back, I was 2 cars back, and I made the turn, and I went, and I'm just like, all of those people, fucking clueless, like
They're
just
just they're
just
they're just following
just
the line.
following the
Yeah.
line. This is the way I
Yeah.
go, and I'm going to go. And I'm just thought, if any of those
Even
people
if
are
there's a
going
better way.
right,
Hmm.
because that's all I did. I needed to go right. So I went left, I went up there, and I made a right turn, and I was gone. I was like, woohoo! And I'm just like, but we get
There's
stuck.
always a better
I
way.
typically
Yeah.
don't get stuck in that shit because I'm like, there's no way I'm waiting. I'd rather drive 30 minutes out of the way than just be stopped. Even if it's the same at the end of the time, I'd rather be driving.
Then
Like
you're
when you go
already answering
downtown,
your question.
this is a perfect example. When you go downtown from, let's say, Wheeling,
Yep.
I would rather, take Milwaukee to Elston and do the whole
Yep.
boogie than sit on the highway or
Oh,
get
I
off
cut
the
over to
highway at
Grand Avenue,
Cumberland.
man.
Yeah, or get off the highway at Cumberland and try to take Foster all the way down or whatever it is.
Exactly. I
And
do
it's
that
just
all
like,
the time.
take the boogie down just because I want to keep driving.
Yes.
Anyway,
And you just know the ins and the outs because you've done it, because you've traveled off the grid. You don't just follow Google Maps. So you're answering your own question right now.
yeah,
You're not the guy that skips vacations or trips like this because of money.
I never have.
Money,
But now
money
it's getting to
is
me.
money is you sitting there in line with the 15 other cars
That's
waiting to
true.
go because
Yeah.
everybody else is doing the same thing. But the person that goes left, and there's no cars in the way, the Truman Show route,
Couldn't believe it.
maybe on that route something happens. Maybe you see something. There's an open mic. Maybe there's a
For
battle of the
sale
bands
sign
or
on a
something.
house or whatever. Yeah. Like you're like,
Exactly.
oh my God.
Shit just happens, man.
You're
I'm
so
telling you.
smart, dude.
The other day I was sitting there and it's snowing balls here, dude, right? And my dog is bugging me and he's bugging me and he's bugging me and he wants to go outside and he wants to take a walk. And it's in the middle of the day. It's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon and I'm trying to get shit done. And he won't let me not do it. So instead of fighting the flow, I went with the flow and I said, okay, let's go on a walk. I can come back and finish stuff because now you'll be okay. And I'll have, a little bit more energy and I can, get up and move a little bit like this, right? So we go out and it sucks. The weather sucks. It's cold. I got my boots on. There's snow fucking everywhere. It's icy and shit. And we're walking. And I turned the corner and I was like, no, Hunter, we're not going the long way. It's too cold. It's too cold. But he
Long
wants
way.
to go the
He wants
long
to go
way.
the
And
long
I'm
way.
like, yeah. And I'm like, all right, fine. We'll go the long way. I go with the flow. Sure enough, we go around the cul-de-sac and I stop and I'm like, what the fuck? And I look in the snow, $20 bill laying in the
I
snow.
knew it. I knew it.
And I'm just like, what the fuck, dude? So I stop and I'm looking, I'm like, is this real? And the dog took off because he saw like a squirrel or something, ripped the leash out of my hands. I'm like, hey, I'm like, stop. I'm like, there's a $20 bill right here. So I had to dig it out of the snow and I got it. And I here, just to prove to you
That's
that I'm not
fucking
fucking
great,
bullshit.
dude.
Check this out, dude. I sent a picture to Rachel too. I was so pumped up about it. I'm like, look what I found. Look at that, dude.
Chilling.
Drying out on the paper
That's
towels
awesome.
because it was soaked. I had to pick it out of the freaking snow. But dude, just because I went with the flow and then I went again with the flow when I didn't want to go on the walk. I didn't want to go the long way. And I didn't have time for this shit. I wanted to get what I wanted done, but I just went with the flow. Found 20 bucks. My dog fucking loved me. I got everything I wanted done at work anyway. And I was able to then shut my computer off and then go to the gym. We played tennis that night. And then I hit another bump in the road. Some guy kicked us off the court at 6 o'clock, halfway through our time.
Yeah.
And we come to find out that the guy wasn't scheduled for that time and we only got half our time. But instead of getting pissed off or letting that bother me, I'm like, all right, now I have more time to go and do recovery and we can get home earlier in order to eat dinner and to hang out and do what we want to do. I just went with the flow. Every time I resist, that's why Bruce Lee always talks about the river, man. Standing in the
Water.
river,
Yeah.
letting that water hit you and you're standing there and you're resisting, it just causes you pain. Eventually you have to let go and it's going to sweep you away anyway. But now you're going to be drowning because you're out of energy and you're tired and you were resisting the whole time. But if you just go with the flow, yes, sometimes there's going to be some rocky turns where there's rapids and shit gets rough. But if you just let the water gently take you through those rough times, it's going to spit you out into these beautiful pools that are calm and serene with beautiful surroundings. And you're going to have the time of your life, and you're going to see people there, and you're going to meet, people there, and you're going to have experiences. But then again, the flow keeps going, and you might fall off a waterfall at one point. And if that happens, you land at the bottom of the waterfall, you pop back up, and you keep going. You just keep going. If you resist, oh, I see you.
Damn.
Hey, it's all good. They can still hear us.
How did that happen?
But I don't know what it is. Like I said, it could be my internet because sometimes it gets goofy. Hang on real fast. It worked last time. It's out of time anyway. There we go. Yeah. So, but that's my point. The Bruce Lee thing, man. Remember the Bruce Lee thing. No resistance. Go with the flow. You had a reason that you guys wanted to go on this trip. You set it in motion for a reason. Just follow through. Finish the year with the pictures. Finish the 52 episodes of the podcast. Follow through. The word you followed through with No Boost 30, and look at what it got you. You're starting something great. And the value isn't in money or in tips or anything like that. The value is in you're going to change some dude's life. That motherfucker is going to end up like Elon Musk. And that guy's going to come back to you and say, your program changed my life so much. I want you guys to be the next AA. So I'm going to give you a fucking $1 million in order to develop this thing the right way. Shit like that happens as long as you go with the flow and you be true to yourself. You change lives, you'll get paid for it.
That's really true. And then, you know what, when things start moving and you start getting busy and it starts taking up your time, you start thinking, I should be getting paid for this. Because it's, that's like one of the first reactions. You're like, well, I should just be getting paid for this. It's natural to feel that way. It's okay to feel that way. But if you're able to pull back and remember the mission, then that corrects the whole thing. You know what I mean? And so I appreciate that. Thank you for saying, because that's true. And even the mission in life, even like Jenny and I, you're right. We put this thing in where it was we've been saving these miles for a European trip, European vacation, what have you. And it happened to fall right now, and it happened to be her 40th, and it's the right thing, the right timing. It's perfect. It's perfect. And we should just go.
You're preaching to me. You're giving me the answers. You've already asked the question, and you're answering it yourself.
Yeah, it's perfect time. So we're gonna go.
Happen, dude.
I can't wait, man. I can't wait to tell you on Monday how much shit I sold, and how crafty I got with whatever funds I could get.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, dude. You got to remember too. Like a lot of the great shit that happens in this world. Usually happens on the other side of, I shouldn't do this because I'm going to go broke. I shouldn't do this because I'm going to lose my house. I shouldn't do this because I'm going to lose my job.
Usually,
everything great is right on the other side of that fucking door.
No, that's so true. And that's what I started this conversation before the trip to Europe was. I went to ask you, because I got into the fishing, but I wanted to say, these people, this ballerina, this tightrope walker, and Michael Jordan to some extent, I feel like he probably wasn't nervous, but
guarantee
what can we do in our lives now to put us in those positions that make us nervous and get us that adrenaline in that thing? We have to compete somehow, or we have to put ourselves out there. Because it's people stop doing that after let's say they don't even play college sports, because rarely people even get to that level.
Yep.
They play high school sports. And then after that, maybe they play some club stuff. But what else are you doing unless you're trying to speak or something? You're getting yourself into one of those things where those nerves come. Yep. You don't. A lot of people don't. Job interview. That's the only other time you got those nerves and you want to be on and you want to be your best and you got to try and you got to think on your
date when you're meeting a woman.
First date. Yeah. That's another thing. But after that, there really aren't many of those things that people put themselves into.
Well,
and that's the good shit, though.
Yeah. Well, remember what I just texted you the other day when Aubrey Marcus was saying? He says you don't have to look far to know what those things are. You just have to listen to yourself.
Yeah, that's true.
If you don't want to take the jiu-jitsu class, you should take the jiu-jitsu class. If you don't want to run
that's
tonight,
funny.
you should run.
I did that tonight. I
Yeah,
listened
dude.
exactly what you told me because I knew I needed to run tonight, but I kind of didn't want to, and I was going to let myself off the hook. And I was like, dude, do a mile. Go do
Yeah.
a mile. And so when I walked out the door, I was already dressed and ready to go. And I was like, I looking at the little coach running thing on the app, and I was like, you know what? There's
Yeah.
a 15-minute run. Do a 15-minute. So I did a
There you
15
go.
minute, but I knew I went farther enough that it was going to be a 20 or 23-minute because I had
Doesn't
gone
matter.
far enough out. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yeah.
Oh shit, dude! It
That's
got
it. You
hung
just
up
gotta
again.
listen. And
I feel
no,
bad.
no,
Is
no.
this my
I can.
internet?
No, I can see you fine. Oh no, no. Now it just
I
stopped
don't know why it keeps kicking us off now.
because listen. No, yeah, it'll be fine. I'll edit it. But what I was gonna say is like I said, we have a really bad snowstorm right now, so it could be something like that with me too. You never know, dude. Like with
Internet?
no, no, no. Like I said, sometimes if you know, like we have a really bad snowstorm going on right now, so it might be something with us too.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. But like I
All
said, we
right.
got a couple more minutes, man. I want you to end this because I've been running my fucking mouth the entire time.
No,
So
you've been good, man.
after all the preaching, we got 3 minutes left until we hit the 2 hour mark, which will be perfect timing.
Okay.
And then we can go and explore all the shit that we've talked about. Like you said, you can come back and tell me all the cool stuff. You could tell me that you got, you're psyched about the trip. You sold it to the wife too and told her that everything's going to be all right, which it will be. Um, and then I'll come back from my Florida trip. I'll tell you all the cool shit that I did.
Yeah, when do you
And all
leave?
the I leave Monday, so that's like the 10th or something, right?
Awesome.
Yeah, the 10th. Yep. And then, like I said, we'll reconvene after that, and we'll have tons of cool shit to talk about. But based on all of the stuff we talked about tonight, like, wrap it up for me and tell me, like, because this was you led it, and I was kind of just giving you, my take on some of the shit that you're
Yeah,
going
no,
through.
you were
Next
helping
time
me.
we
Yeah,
talk, yeah,
yeah,
I'm gonna give you some shit because, like I said, I've got tons of stuff that I wanted to talk about. So
I
next time
know.
when I lead, we're gonna you're gonna be doing most of the talking, and I'm gonna ask you the questions. But
Yeah, we never really flipped it. We were supposed to maybe to go half and half, but that's okay.
dude, it was fucking perfect. I loved it.
Yeah, this was
But
really good.
we'll wrap it
So,
up, baby. Let me. What you think?
I'll wrap it up on what we went through.
Or just
Um,
what you think? Where you at right now? From the beginning of tonight to right now, where you at?
Dude, it was great because you really helped me. It's so funny because if the shoe was on the other foot, I may have given the same advice, even though
Of
your
course.
advice was different and beautiful. And I'm sitting here in a fear-based mindset, thinking
Mm-hmm.
that this is finite and what I'm in right now will always be what I'm in right now. But I can look at everything around me and know I have other businesses going and great things happening. But even though great things are happening like that, I'm still operating in fear. And I
Yep.
know that when I let go, and be me, completely me, everything's going to be fine. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but it's easy to huddle up with your significant other, and then you
Yep.
both get into that fear-based mindset, and then you start protecting, and you're like, oh
Yeah.
well, let's just do this and protect. But that's not going to help you get to the next step if you're protecting. You know what I
Nope.
mean?
Nope.
um, and so when I say the next step too, is that's something I've been thinking about implementing in my morning show. Is what's the next step?
Yeah, I love it.
What's the next step? Is it whatever your next step is to get you where you, so is it selling something to make the
Yes.
next step? Is it, applying to the
Changing
next
jobs.
job? Is it
Yes.
asking somebody, on a date?
Moving.
What's the
Yeah.
next step? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
dude.
so then I'll ask everybody that, what is the next step?
I love
Um,
it.
it's
That's a great
exciting,
theme. Definitely
and
power through that.
yeah,
Definitely use that for a while on your
yeah,
on the way to work.
I'm gonna push it on the way to work because
Yeah.
everybody's going into their day and you're like, hey, here's today. What's your next step?
Yeah.
Is it
They've
reading?
heard from you for a
Is it
year
reading
on
one
like
more
what's up.
page?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they've heard from you for a long time on what you think, what's up, what your insecurities are,
yeah,
what you're working on, what you're passionate about. But now,
yeah.
like you said, now this year you tell them how to take that next step, or you challenge them to what their next step
What
is.
their next step
Dude,
is.
that's just a logical progression. I love
Yeah,
it.
that makes sense. I like that. And then you helped me. You helped me say, don't be afraid. Go on the vacation. And what's your next step? And the next step is to push through the fear. Right on
Yes.
this moment, this is a huge fearful moment. Like I
Yes.
know we'll be able to get the scratch to pay. We're like halfway, we have, and 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 we'll get the
Make
mortgage
make
payment. Like we have it.
yeah,
Like, but it's
make it
like,
happen.
you know, when you got a child there, you get a little scared, but he'll
Oh,
be,
dude, that's only natural. But that's what
I
holds
mean, you
people,
know,
that's what holds the regular people back. Um, and that's when the superstars, separate themselves from the pack, is the guys that push through the fear. Dude, you know how many times Elon Musk was going to lose Tesla? And now they're the second most valuable automaker in the world. There's like 5 or 6 times in the last 2 years that the guy was going to take the thing public and going to lose the company
yeah,
because of monetary problems but he didn't give a shit about any of that because he knew that he was going to change the world. And when everyone realized his vision, what he was really doing,
yeah.
then the money would just come. Dude, the company's worth $150 billion now. He just cashed out like a huge bonus because of the monetary value of his company.
Yeah, I
And
saw somebody they put his bonus structure up online or something
yeah,
like that,
it's
like what the payouts were
insane.
going to be. It was
Yeah,
like unbelievable.
billions and billions. But that dude doesn't even give a shit about that. He doesn't care about that. All he wants to do is change the world because he knows that if he just goes with the flow and he's the best version of Elon that he can be, dude, he's got more shit going on than anybody times fucking 100, with
Yeah,
SpaceX and Tesla and Solar City and Neural Net and all this Starlink and everything that he's got going on. Dude, if he can handle that, we can handle whatever the fuck we're handling.
yeah,
No
dude. That's
problem.
no, 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 that's really true. I'm sure he has an assistant though.
I guarantee that he's got more than one.
I know that was a joke.
Yeah, he's got more than one.
No, dude,
I'm
you
telling you,
allowed
man.
me to let go some fear, man, and just pull me back in, and so I appreciate it, you know. And there's nobody in the world, truthfully, that like I would trust more and with the advice than you. So thank you. I really mean it.
Yeah, man.
You know,
Yeah,
like it
anytime.
straight to the heart. You know, so thanks.
That's what it's all about, baby. That's why we do these things. That's why we're going to go
You're
on
right.
that trip together. Like I said, that's why I told you that I got us. I don't want you, having any anxiety, any
Oh,
fear. That's what you live in fear. It'll cripple your ass. You live in fear. It'll shorten your life.
oh my
It'll
God.
Your kid will notice. Your wife
Yeah.
will notice. Before you even notice.
No, yeah,
Um,
that's true. That's
yeah,
so true.
and you don't
Uh,
want that. You want your kid to see how you take life by the fucking reins and you're just like, we're going on this adventure. We're going to go get this thing and we're going to use this telescope to see Jupiter. Even though I can't afford it, you need to see these planets with your own eyes and you
yeah,
need to experience this because it's life changing and it could
yeah.
make your kid a fucking astronaut. My mom, when I'll leave it on this,
Okay.
and then we can wrap it up so you can go take care of some shit. But back in the day, my mom was broke. She had 20 bucks in me when she moved from Wisconsin after my parents got divorced. And she went and lived with her parents. I was 2, 3 years old at the time. And she didn't have any money. So she lived with her parents. We finally got enough cash to live in a 1 bedroom apartment in Wheeling over by Walt Whitman. And we lived there for a long time. And she was working, the 9 to 5 thing. And she still made all my baseball games and she still did everything she could to support me, right? And then eventually we got to the point where we moved into a 2 bedroom apartment over by Mr. Klateki's house. And at that point, like, she bought me my first computer and I didn't know why, or I didn't really know how she came up with this money. And it was just a tax return thing. So she blew her entire tax return on buying me a Commodore 64 computer. And I still have it. And
Wow.
and she was like, you're super smart, you're super talented, you're going to be something huge one day. I don't have the money for this, but I think that computers are, the way to go. Take it, play video games on it, do whatever you can do, just use it. So I used the Commodore 64. Then later on she bought me my first Apple, and that was the one I showed you on the phone. And then I got another Apple after that before I
Is that a
ended up buying my own
Macintosh?
shit.
What was
It
that?
was no, that was like
2E?
yeah, exactly. It was like one of those, but it wasn't a 2E. I'll look it up and tell you. But
All right.
um, but the point is like now she came to me like, I don't know, maybe a couple years ago now, and she's like, the greatest thing that I ever did was support you with buying a computer when I couldn't afford it because it allowed you to become successful today because you're so good with technology and you're so good with computers and you're so good with all this stuff. I I don't see a lot of people that are your age that are as good with this stuff as you are. And I directly think it was because I went out on a limb and made a sacrifice that I couldn't afford and bought you this computer when you were 9 years old. And I'm like, Mom, You're 100% correct. And I can't thank you enough for making those sacrifices that you did when I was younger. And it was simple stuff like going to the baseball game, buying me shoes for basketball, getting me a computer, just like little shit like that was so life changing to me. And she made all these sacrifices and showed me what that value was. And it
Yeah.
wasn't money. It
Yeah.
was providing me an opportunity to become something bigger than her when I grew up. And I
Yeah.
want you to do the same thing with Payne or how many ever kids you have. You show them that you're willing to make a sacrifice. And I'm not saying, be cheap and not do cool shit or not buy him the golf clubs when he is ready to play golf.
Yeah.
You do that shit and you make it happen by selling some of your other stuff in order for Payne then to one day become, maybe he doesn't become a great golfer or a pro golfer. Maybe he works for Titleist and becomes the next club designer. Maybe the guy he works for, one of the ball companies. Maybe he becomes a golf announcer. Maybe he becomes an ESPN correspondent for fucking PGA.
Yeah.
You don't know, but you just provide them with the inspiration, first of all, because if he doesn't see dad doing it, he ain't going to do it.
Yeah.
Then you provide him with the means necessary too. Once he gets to that age, like I said, you buy him the golf clubs, you buy him
So
the
good,
computer
man.
or whatever. But I'm telling you, man, if he sees dad living in fear, he sees mom living in fear, not doing the things that they love, not being themselves, it's impossible for him to be himself. It's impossible for him to really chase his dreams because you're just lying to him at that point. You're like, chase your dreams. And he's like, fuck you. You never chased your dreams. You bailed on your dreams. Trust me, dude, kids are not stupid. So
Yeah.
you have to live the part, not just preach the part. They hear it all the time in school and they're sick of teachers.
Yeah.
They want to see somebody actually doing it, living it, the grind. You show them the grind, they're going to be 10 times more successful, 100 times more successful than you.
Yeah. No, that's so true. Hey, nobody could ever tell me I wasn't a dreamer, and I fucking won't give up. That's for sure.
You never have. That's why you're sitting here
Well,
right now, man.
yeah, this is good stuff, man. You fucking wrapped it up well. I'm telling you. I can't wait to talk next week. Well, you're going to be in leaving for Florida,
Florida.
so we'll connect when we get back. But it'll be
Yep.
great to explore
That's what I'm
that.
saying, baby.
All right, brother.
I'm
Thanks,
pumped, bro.
man. You're amazing.
Yeah. Go do some shit. Go look up some stuff. Go figure out and jot down some numbers. Make it happen, my brother. Send me some thumbs up. Send me some smiley faces. Send me some fucking pictures. Send me some numbers. If you sell those golf clubs and you made like $600 or something,
don't you worry.
Send me the picture of that receipt and go fucking cha-ching. You know what I mean?
You got
Make it happen, brother.
All right, man.
I appreciate it, dude. I was so pumped about this conversation and
I
just
know.
me talking to you. I don't give a shit if we ever talk about what I want to talk about, man. I just love talking about your shit, dude. And it's just so much fun, man. It's just so much fun.
You're awesome. Thanks, man. I really appreciate it.
Go do your thing, man. Have a great rest of your week. Have a great weekend. And like you said, we'll chat in a little bit.
All right, brother.
Thanks, Olito.
See you, bud.